Equity at Salt Lake Community College. First, a quick preface about this. Food access and equity are not the same thing. They often get conflated, but it's important to know that those are two different things. So hopefully, either through my presentation or in the questions afterward, we can elucidate what that might mean. At Salt Lake Community College and around the country, college and higher education is now more than ever affordable and accessible to a broader populace. And most students are hoping to get access to a job which hopefully will help them secure their future. They pursue degrees in CS, pharmaceuticals, radiology, business. The list of people looking to make a living and a stable career is as broad and diverse as our student body. Now, one thing that Salt Lake Community College does not have is, healthy, reliable, and affordable healthy food options to fuel those myriad goals. In the Honors Lounge on our campus, we offer a variety of frozen and dry options, both in our fridge and our small pantry, that are free to all students regardless of whether or not they're honors students. These are all individually packaged, they have to be for health code, which we can purchase in bulk at Costco from our program manager, Tran-Peters, who does that job amazingly well. We're able to provide gluten-free, vegan, and vegetarian options, although we're currently not able to provide things like a kosher or halal option. Other offices do have snacks on campus, but they're usually limited to, like ramen, chips, Uncrustables. And our lounge is at one singular campus. Salt Lake Community College has 8 campuses. So you can see that, serving Salt Lake County, the neighboring Tooele, Utah, Summit, and Davis counties, that we're not able to provide adequate nutrition. Hell, our tiny microwave does not provide adequate nutrition either. I'd like to look at some information from Jason Evans and April Roggio in their paper on the college campus as a living laboratory. And they note that there are greater socioeconomic challenges facing society that are reflected in microcosm within the institution. And those include socioeconomic disparity, rising costs of living, and the continual mounting stressors of balancing financial, work, and family life. And those are all stacked higher and higher. Extortionist investment firms are purchasing up to 1 in 5 properties in the United States. In Utah, where housing is desperately needed and can hardly be built fast enough, we see rents that are an all-time high for our state. According to a fact sheet published by the University of Utah Gardner Policy Institute, rents in Salt Lake County have gone up 37.1% from 2016 to 2021, and from 2020 to 2021, 11%, while income only rose 18.5%. According to the MIT cost of living calculator, you would need to make $22.77 an hour in order to, as a single earner with no children, in order to afford to eat and pay your rent in Utah. And if you're from California, you're probably going like, in Utah that would be pretty good. That'd be pretty good. And you can see here the income rise and the rent rise there. And then if we take this data, and if you were making $22.77 an hour, and you wanted to pay rent based on your median income, so if this is what your median income was, if you wanted to pay 30% of your income as rent, this is what you would pay in these cities, which are all students from these cities all attend Salt Lake Community College. So you can see the disparity there between the median rent and that 30% of income a month. And that's all money that could be available for food. So while the majority of students at SLIC come from the most food secure and stable income parts of the valley, there's a difference in the student population of 1.58 to 2.59% from low income zip codes, and that's per zip code, or to 4.09 to 5.54 in higher income areas, and again, that's per zip code. And this kind of shows where the campuses are in the Salt Lake Valley. Here you can see the Great Salt Lake on the left. So this map is from the USDA Food Access Research Atlas, and it shows a distance from grocery stores that people are at. So in here, the light orange is going to be a half-mile driving distance. The dark orange is going to be a 1+ mile driving distance, and then the yellow areas, which often overlap with the dark orange areas, are going to be no vehicle access and greater than a half mile, which might not sound like a lot, but if you're carrying your groceries home, that's quite a distance. So this map only counts big box stores, supermarkets, and food warehouses. Does not include convenience stores, drug stores, dollar stores, military commissaries, or club stores like Sam's Club or Costco. The reason they're only counting these is because They're using this information to show you reliable access to fruits and vegetables. They're not necessarily showing you reliable access to food as a whole. So while cup noodles is not necessarily considered a healthy food option, it is food. So I'd like to focus a little bit about what was in the literature. This is what the literature suggests that we should focus on. Underlying factors in food access and in equitably addressing that we should focus on historically underserved communities, and then it should be, at least on the college campus, student-led and have novel, radical, and systemic changes. I'll obviously be focusing a lot on systemic changes here. In Hadia George's song, Hot Flavor, I'll give a little cultural context here. She says, calling all common minds, policy got the man acting like a child. Policy made demands for the human race. Policy made police put a gun to a child. Policy put degree on my back. Good kids, bad world, I'm gonna hit him with that. That said, policy, there are bookstores, this is policy for Salt Lake Community College. There are 2 bookstores out of our 8 campuses, so two campuses have a bookstore with food options. The main Taylorsville campus location has a Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and a Cup Bop, which is like a dongbap style Korean food option. And those are only open from 10:30 to 1:30 weekdays or until sold out. We are a commuter campus, but that's really difficult. Also policy, we have a fantastic faculty to student ratio of 1 to 19, love it. However, food management to student is 1 to 12,500. So for every 12,500 students, there's 1 person working in food management on campus. This is also from Evans and Roggio here. And this is what they suggest in the school system. This is what they suggest in the school system for highlighting how we can address this. Food service management strategies in particular is focusing on the hospitality and management programs within the school, so an educational lens there. Salt Lake City itself, not the county, but the city, has a resident food equity advisor program, and these are the strategies they developed that would help improve food access and equity. So this is gonna focus on social media. This is going to continue to focus on a plan that addresses systemic issues by focusing on policy. And then this is gonna support programs that expand relevant and dignified options. For instance, we have a Bruin pantry on campus, we're the Bruins, we have a Bruin pantry on campus, but it's very visible, and the literature suggests that if you can put accessible free food options in discrete or locations where people aren't going to be seen, that they're more likely to access those free food options. This one's very interesting. Most places that have a hospitality management or a culinary program, like Salt Lake Community College does, have a student-run restaurant, and we do not. So I think that this would fit into that as well. We also need to note that we should go beyond emergency services. COVID-19 showed us that we're capable of creating novel, radical, and systemic changes that affect our food landscape, and we can take those beyond the emergency capacity. I would say radical changes here, and this again, bringing in that cultural element. You know, when I'm saying, you know, when Hadia George in her song Hot Flavor says, you know, these shows ain't real, politics ain't real. Can't you tell what's real? My family, that's real. My friends on one hand, that's real. My intuition, that's real. My faith, my terror, that's real. And all this anger is real. And I'm just gonna suggest to all of you that if you're interested in making a radical change, to team up with somebody in your life. You know, maybe that's your little brother, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your best friend or your little cousin, and tackle the cost of living together. In Salt Lake County, the cost of living for 2 earners with no children, again, no children, so it would be higher if you had children. If you were splitting that cost of living, you'd only need to make $15.93 an hour, which is a little bit more accessible. Student-led approaches can create novel ideas. And for instance, I would recommend an expansion of pantry options to offer free fridges and cabinets on campus, as well as an opening of a student-run restaurant and the ability to use EBT or SNAP or WIC to buy food on campus, which you can currently do. Further research, I'd like to conduct student surveys to find what do Salt Lake Community College, the most diverse community college in Utah, or the most diverse college or university in Utah, what is a culturally appropriate food option for students, and are those students food insecure? And because we need to focus on historically underserved, racialized, and minoritized communities, I need to find a way to do that ethically. So if anyone would like to talk about that afterward, I need help. That said, thank you so much for everyone for being here. Please check out my references.